Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the second edition of TechTonics, and I, Shubham Rajput, is proud to present to you various different technology news from across the world that is going to affect you in some way or the other. So, without any further ado, let's get started. The first news is coming from 8chan and Cloudflare. Cloudflare's CEO, Mr. Matthew Prince, decided to cut off its support to the internet forum 8chan or Infinite Chain, as some of you might be knowing it, by describing the internet forum as a cesspool of hate. If you are not already aware of as to why this is happening, is because the internet forum was a recipient of a manifesto that was posted there just before a terrorist incident that happened in El Paso where 20 people were killed. He went on and decided that the community has become lawless and lawlessness has resulted in the tragic deaths of many people across the world. He's saying this because the same forum was a recipient of a manifesto that was posted over onto this forum just before the attack in Christchurch in New Zealand, where many different people were also killed. Well, the internet is welcoming this decision by Mr. Matthew Prince, and to all the people who have been the recipient of this tragic loss and this stupid and heinous incident, my thoughts, my love and prayer is with all of you guys. Next news is coming from Audi. Audi seems to think it has resolved the problems with short distance traveling devices, also known as scooters. Scooters are fun. You can take them anywhere, they are easily accessible and are very easy to store. The problems with these scooters are when you are riding them, the only way to control the navigation or the only way to navigate these devices is with the help of your hand. But since the device is so small, it is always uncomfortable to control it using your single hand or both of your hands if that is the case. Audi claims to have resolved this problem by transferring the main navigation mechanism to a weight driven mechanism. What I mean by this is, if you decide to buy these scooters, which are going to cost you around $2,000 at this point, if you decide to buy these scooters, the very way you navigate them is similar to how you will navigate a surfboard in the seas with the help of your weights, if you can understand that. The problem with this is not necessarily the price. The introduction of a safety navigation mechanism, which is weight driven, has limited the speed of these devices to just 12.5 miles per hour. If that is the maximum speed that these devices are offering, although these devices should be incredible for short distance, will you be considering buying these devices? If you are, don't forget to comment them in the comment section below and tell us what you think. The next news is coming from our friendly Google. Anna Megan, who is the head of sustainable development in consumer hardware over at Google, just released a blog post depicting various Google's commitment towards sustainable development in its consumer hardware. Through the blog post, Google highlights its commitment to make all the shipments to and from Google 100% carbon neutral. Google also promised to make use of recycled materials as far as possible in its Google products. It also wants to make use of 100% recycled materials in all made in Google products. Google also says it is going to drive its business, its expansion mechanism depending on the feedback from people and with consumers' interest in its mind. Well, if you are thinking if this is the first company who has taken charge of sustainable development and eco-friendly outlook in general, absolutely not. Various tech giants like Amazon, Samsung, Apple already have these eco-friendly and sustainable development processes in place to take care of the environment. For example, Amazon has a long declared that it wants to use eco-friendly packaging for all the shipments that goes in and out of Google. Well, how much of that is happening? You guys are going to be the judge of that. Apple has also long boasted its visions of using a closed loop development process, but the question that comes up again and again when we can talk about a closed loop process is, if any Apple devices gets some kind of problem, will closed loop system not ensure its repair rather than complete replacement? Something to think about. So the very essential aspect that you as my viewers need to understand is, when it comes to these eco-friendly practices, these sustainable development practices that these companies actually take up, I want you to understand that all of these processes are completely self-guided by the companies themselves. There are no necessarily government regulations that are in place for these companies as to what are the kind of processes you need to take care of in your business expansion that doesn't affect the environment. Various kinds of norms and things like that, they are not necessarily in place or are not as strict as one would want to be. Therefore, it becomes the responsibility of we as consumers to see that these kinds of things are happening, and if it is not happening, or if there is certain things that you think is important to be brought out, these companies, I feel, will have that capacity and capability to take the feedback that is provided by consumers and incorporate in their development processes. So this is something that we need to be aware of and use various different social media channels like I'm using right now to put their voice out if there is something that they wanted to be addressed. So all power to you guys. Alright, the next news is coming from the smartphone market. Asus Zenfone 6 is now available for purchase in the US market. Asus Zenfone 6 is different from its predecessor in the fact that the camera assembly is housed in a unit that flips up from the back of the phone. The unit houses a 48 megapixel main camera and a 30 megapixel wide angle lens. The unit is capable of auto-rotating for taking incredible panoramas and is also able to track a subject in motion tracking mode. Not just that, Asus Zenfone 6 will support Snapdragon 855 and is going to have a 5000 milliampere hour battery, will have 2 slots for SIMs and can support external SD cards with up to 2 terabytes of capacity. God, we have come out a long way. Not just that, Asus Zenfone 6 will be available in 2 colors, which will be Twilight Silver and Midnight Black. The only downside that I have been seeing in Asus Zenfone 6 as far as my perspective is concerned, that it doesn't support wireless charging. No. And there's no necessary mechanism in place that increases its water resistant to a state we want it to be in. Keanu Reeves fans are going to rejoice in this next news because Matrix is hitting the theaters once again to celebrate its 20th anniversary. Matrix is going to be released in 135 Dolby theaters starting from August 30 and continuing on till 5th of September. Keanu Reeves fans are still marinating into the after effects of John Wick 3 and Keanu Reeves' breathtaking appearance over onto at E3.
You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
So what is happening here? Are we trying to bank on the Keanu avalanche effect that is happening right now? Or it is just a coincidence that the 20th anniversary and Keanu Reeves' fan avalanche is happening at the same time? You are going to be the judge of that once again. In the next news, computer enthusiasts are really happy to see that Samsung is keeping its SSD game up by introducing a 100-layer V-NAND SSD, which will now be aimed at enterprise usage. Samsung says this kind of SSD is industry's first, and it just needed 1 layer of etching to introduce 100 layers of cells for efficient performance. The performance thus provided by this SSD is going to be 10% faster than it used to be with the 90 layer VNAND SSDs, and the power consumption is going to be reduced by 15%. The writing speeds that you will have with these SSDs will be 425 microseconds. You heard that right, and the reading response time for these SSDs will be 45 microseconds. If you are building a computer, Samsung SSDs as of now is probably the best SSD you can get for your system build. I have personally used it, and if you are building a computer and if you want to use an SSD, Samsung SSDs, for example, I use Samsung 860 EVO 256GB SSD for my build, but you can also go ahead with NVMe SSDs if that is something that would be much more suited for your build. But if you want to pick an SSD by closing your eyes, Samsung is where it is at. I don't know how Samsung Galaxy Watch active users are going to react to this news. I don't know what's going on with the naming convention. So Samsung just decided to release or announce the release of Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2 just after it decided to announce the release of Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 and before the release of Samsung Galaxy Note 10. The new Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2 is going to have features such as rotating touch-based bezel, various different technological advancements, one common UI, two different sizes, and various other health and fitness related advancements such as ECG and other such technological upgradations. The watch is supposed to go live in sales in September 27 in United States, and when it is going to be released worldwide is not clear at this point. What other features are going to be there in this Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2 is not yet clear at this point, but I will make it a point to update that on this channel or over onto my website, so stay tuned for that. Alright, so Independence Day is upon us, and upon us are various different sale days from the two e-commerce giants in the country. The sale from Amazon is called the Freedom Days Sale, and the same sale from Flipkart is called the National Shopping Days Sale. Both of these sales will be going live from 8th of August for all the members, and for Amazon Prime members the sale will be going on live from 7th of August. There are a variety of different smartphone deals and other gadget deals that are being pointed out by Flipkart. Since covering all of them in this one video will get a little tedious, so I decided to create a post over onto at yantras.com that you can check out and buy any product that you think will be feasible for you and it falls into your price bracket. You will also be able to fetch instant discounts from Flipkart if you're using an ICICI credit card or a debit card. The same thing can be taken from Amazon as well. The difference will be you need to have an SBI credit or debit card to make your purchase. There are various terms and conditions about this, but it was my point to make you aware of various deals that will be happening. Please do not be worried. All the sale items that I think are actually available at Steal Deals, I'll be posting them on the website. So just go ahead, visit it and buy whatever you so desire. With that said, guys, this is the end of my second edition of TechTonics. We discussed various types of news, and if you have any queries regarding them or any queries regarding tech in general, it will mean the world to me to just go ahead and comment it out in the comment section below, and I will see you next time. Namaskaram.